I just kind of like his vibe. Twice without realising it, you can see. Hey guys, welcome back to another day of Bookmas. Today we are locking in, as you can see from the title of the video, today the reading journal is going to be choosing the books that I read. I'm starting to feel a little bit like completing my reading journal 2025 might be impossible. We're not there yet, but I have got a lot of books to get through in order to be able to complete this. Primarily for today's video, we are going to be reviewing my 2025 anticipated releases and my 25 books for 2025 spreads, because these are the books that a full 12 months ago I was really excited to read this year that I still haven't. So here is a quick rundown of the books that we still haven't read yet this year that we need to get to before the end of the year. On the 25 books for 2025 side of things, we have Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, Brimstone, the second book after Quicksilver, Daisy Hates, Ninth House, Eldritch, which is the second book after Anathema, Crooked Kingdom, the second book after Six of Crows, and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So a seriously strong lineup, and then I've also got a bunch more on my anticipated releases side. I've got Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston, Caught Up by Nabessa Allen, Love Arranged by Lauren Asher, Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage, It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. And then on top of all of those, I do also have on my book bingo page, but I'm thinking we might end up ticking these off like as a product of ticking off some of those. We've got over 1,000 pages, a British author, new genre, a classic, and a TV adaptation. And I also think that if I just review some of the books I've already read this year, like I think TV adaptation we should be able to tick off already, and new genre we should be able to tick off already. But a classic and 1,000 pages, I think we definitely haven't done yet. Today is actually Brimstone release day. Now, I have pre-ordered the audiobook. I'm so excited to listen to it. It's a fast-paced fantasy, fae, vampire, romantasy, kind of spicy, swoony. Like it's one of those. If you haven't read Quicksilver yet, I recommend. But because we've got the new release of Brimstone today, I think I have to start with that. So we're going to start with Brimstone because I literally just can't wait, which is here on our page. I am going to go start listening to Brimstone, and I will let you know as soon as I have an update, and let's see if it lives up to the hype of Quicksilver. Either way, we'll be able to cross it off the reading journal at last.
Kingfisher. A wolf was a versatile creature.
It is the next day. I am just getting ready to go and get my nails done, which is very good quality audiobooking time. The weather is terrible out there, so I need to wrap up warm. But I am now 17 chapters into Brimstone. I don't know how many, what percentage of the way through that means I am. All of a sudden I can't remember how you see that on Audible. But I'm 17 chapters in, so I've listened to quite a lot over the last however many hours, and I think we're vibing so far. There were so many, in fact, I need to remember this is not a spoiler video. Okay, I was just about to go all in on telling you where I'm up to. I'm 17 chapters in, it's going well. I'm vibing so far. I'm not vibing as hard as I was with Quicksilver. I think I didn't really go into details before about, wait, where are my shoes? I should just get my shoes on. I didn't really go into detail before about what I thought of my Quicksilver reread. I loved my Quicksilver reread, was super hooked, still obsessed, but I do think the ending of Quicksilver wasn't necessarily the best. And I think the plot that we've now started on in Brimstone, I still think I'm trying to work out what the plot is, and kind of the things that I liked about Quicksilver are still true, but I'm still trying to sink my teeth into a bit of a meatier plot. I think right now the plot doesn't necessarily feel super strong. Carrion is even funnier than he was in Quicksilver, and I'm glad about that, because I think on my re-listen, he wasn't as funny as I'd kind of remembered him to be. I think I'd overhyped, and I think the internet had overhyped how funny he is. So on my re-listen of Quicksilver, I was like, oh yeah, no, he is funny, but he's not it's not as big of a deal, but he is really, he is really funny in Brimstone. Still love Kingfisher, still love Ceres. I'm really liking that we're getting more of like the Lupo Prolia team characters. So like all the found family stuff is good. I think, yeah, I'm rambling a little bit, but I think it's just the plot. I'm trying to work out like, okay, what are we doing? I think I understand. We obviously know like the major cliffhanger that we left off of at the end of Quicksilver. So Ceres' situation has now changed. She's got this new situation that she needs to deal with. We're kind of dealing with that. We've also got some stuff going on with the gods, which we now need to contend with. It's feeling a little all over the place, but maybe that's okay. I don't know how many books are going to be in the series. I think it's going to be a trilogy. What else do I need in order to get my nails done? Because I need to leave the house. Yeah, I think it's going to be a trilogy, in which case I think it's okay for the beginning of the second book to be a little bit... It almost feels like now we're painting the picture for where the next two books are going to go. Because to me, I can kind of see the vision that you had, like your main plot for your first book, which was we're discovering this entire new world, we've worked out a romance, you kind of set the foundations, and now it's like, okay, what's like the bigger mission? What's the bigger fantasy challenge that we're going to have to deal with over the next two books? I think that's the vibe that I'm getting. Anyway, I'm gonna keep listening. I think once you get to like the halfway point, I will be able to form like a more solid opinion on if I'm like loving it or not. The vibes are high. I'm keen to keep listening, but I'm not like obsessed right now the way that I think I did get really hooked into Quicksilver very quickly. I'm feeling more kind of just like I'm enjoying it. Like we're bobbing along. I'm enjoying being with these characters. Let's go keep listening. Let's get these nails done. Look at the state of them. Goodness me. And then I'll give you an update once I've got a little bit more of the way through. Oh, I just got back. It is so cold out there. I am freezing. We had some crazy snow this morning and oh my gosh, it's so cold. Oh, and waiting on the doorstep is a Waterstones delivery. And I can honestly say I have no idea what's in here. So I figured let's do a little bookish unboxing. I really feel like all the books that I've ordered recently have all been delivered. So I just don't know what's in here. Oh my gosh. What? What? I must have pre-ordered it. I must have, when I finished Quicksilver, I must have loved it so much that I pre-ordered Brimstone. That's what's just arrived. I was fully planning that later on in this vlog we were gonna go buy it. Guys, it's also signed. Look at me being so, oh hi. Look at me being so organised and look, we have a signed copy. I can't believe it, that's so exciting. Oh wow. Okay, let's take a good look at it. Let me get the signed and exclusive sticker off. Oh, I can't believe I've done this. This is so much fun. This means that, well, it's absolutely freezing right now. I think I'm gonna light a fire, hunker down and do an immersive read. And I don't need to wait till, this is, okay, here we go. Front cover. Beautiful. Spine. Back. What does it say? Their fates were forged in Quicksilver, but they will be fired in Brimstone. Okay. Then look at this artwork. Okay, let's take the dust jacket off and see what we're looking at. Oh, okay, we have a gold foil fox, I guess, for like the Lupo Prolia. My face is still like warming up. You know when you're so cold, I didn't want to touch my hands to my face and everything feels all like a bit frozen. And then, well, I'm guessing that is Mr. Carrion Swift. Does he really get, he gets a full, that's so much fun. Look at Mr. Swift, how stunning. And then in the back, oh, we have Onyx. Look who we have in the back. Onyx and a little butterfly. A little Osha, I guess. O'Shayla, O'Shaylith, O'Shay, I can't remember what the butterflies are called. And our very impressive copper sprayed edges. Stunning. I am sad that it doesn't match the cover that I've already got. I do feel so bad for Callie. I know I was one of the people that doesn't like the face on the front cover, but then one of you guys told me that I could flip the cover of Quicksilver the other way around, and I actually love the inside version of that original cover. And apparently Callie like made those covers herself, and then she got so much online hate about the covers, which I'll never understand people that don't like things and then go and shout about it to the author. I think it's perfectly possible to review a book negatively without going to tell the author that. I mean, that's just mean. You can critique books to your friends and like to your communities without, anyway, that's a whole other thing. People gave her so much hate for that she now like designed these new covers. So it means that my Quicksilver copy and my Brimstone copy now do not match, which is slightly triggering, I have to say. Maybe I'll end up buying, no, I probably won't, but maybe I'll end up buying the Quicksilver copy that now matches this. But that's so much fun. I can't believe I'm gonna have to look it up now. I must have pre-ordered it because, I mean, no one sent this to me. This is me ordering from Waterstones. Yeah, I bought myself a book. This is like book Christmas. Maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should, like, for my Christmas present to myself, buy myself some books to be like delivered throughout 2026. And then every now and again, I'll just like get a book delivery from myself that I didn't know was coming. Because this feels so much fun. Ooh, this feels lovely. Like really lovely. Okay, where are we up to? I've read that. Oh, I've just seen, no, I haven't actually got there yet. I've just seen, you know, the audio soundbite that's like, it's not a simple thing, Fisher. She's well spectacular. You know that little soundbite that Callie posted of the... Okay, oh my gosh, that's there. Okay, maybe I just need to stop. I know, but I have read that. Okay, so I am close to here. I'm somewhere in this zone. Oh wow, I'm like fully, I'm right in this section. Oh, this is where I am, this is where I am. This is exactly where I am. Oh my god, it's literally the next line that I'm gonna listen to. As if. Okay, right. I think I'm getting into the book. I think I'm starting to get really hooked. To answer my own question, I am now 243 pages in. So we have put like a decent dent in this. I'm gonna go light the fire, snuggle into the chair. I am not leaving this house again today. It is absolutely freezing and miserable outside now that the snow has stopped. It's just like grey and dark and gloomy. We do have new nails, which is very nice and very satisfying. And I feel very clean now. You're like kind of clean girl energy of having new nails done. Okay, let's go get cozy. So interesting. Like, what? I love it when there's like interesting magic. I know that should be a given in a fantasy book. I'm really enjoying this, like whatever is going on right now, like how magically it's occurring. I'm getting into this book. I'm getting into it. Fisher being funny? Yes, Fisher, go off. Okay, we're not getting multi-dimensional Carrie and Swift. Yes. This book is really picking up. Not so much on the plot still. I'm still not sure on there being like an overall very clear, like what are we doing? I might be speaking too soon, but maybe it's kind of giving filler book energy now that I think about it. I don't want to like put it in that bucket, but you know how often the second book in a trilogy can end up being a bit of a filler? Maybe that's what's happening. But I will say the character development we're getting, the introduction to new characters that we're getting, like the evolution of the magic and the magic systems and people's magic that we're getting is all getting better and better as the book progresses. So maybe that's fine. Maybe like if you have all those components of like stronger character development, all the things I just listed, maybe that is what like a filler, well, I'm not sure I believe in the existence of a filler book, but if you're gonna do one, have all those things in. And maybe there is I'm gonna stop talking. I only came on here to say, we're getting multi-dimensional Carrie and Swift and I'm eating it up. I love him. That was it. All the other stuff, I'm speaking too soon. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to cleaning my kitchen. Good morning. This sunshine today is absolutely criminal. I'm thinking I might take my book and actually read it from a cafe somewhere. It's too freezing to read outside. It's like frosty everywhere. But maybe Brimstone needs to be taken to a cafe today because it's stunning. Anyway, I think today's the day we finish Brimstone. I have this much left. So, well, to be fair, that's still a pretty big slog for me to do in a day, but I reckon today's the day we finish it. I've started to finally see some other people's reviews coming out. Oh my gosh, look how sparkly. Can you see? Wait, I'm not gonna be able to show you in the sunlight. I don't know if that's gonna like translate if I like give it a little wiggle, but this is so sparkly, shimmery in the sunlight. Oh wow, that's beautiful. Anyway, I've started to see some people's reviews coming out, and so far I'm yet to see a review for this that isn't like an outrageous 5-star. Like, people are crashing all the way out over this book. I am having a really good time. I don't think I'm quite like that though necessarily. I don't know why. I hate it when I'm not crashing out over a book. I want to have that crash out feeling. This, it's going really well, not to like spoil my final review because I don't have one yet, but at the moment we are definitely like in the 4-star region. I don't know why I was kind of just expecting it to be more heading in one direction. I feel like I've already said this, but it feels a little bit kind of here, there and everywhere. It feels more kind of like hanging out with these characters. I'm loving the fact that we're getting so much more world building, so much more character development, like the depth that we're going into with the romance I'm enjoying. The romance, I don't know if this is just like unfair of me, but I think it's like a really healthy relationship now, or like it's deepening into this like long-term, I don't know, there's something slightly off about the relationship. Not the relationship, but I think normally, you guys know I love a romance and like you like really eat up chapters when a couple are together. I'm actually finding those chapters the least entertaining, and like when we're getting smutty chapters, I mean, don't get me wrong, Kingfisher's mouth is absolutely filthy and the things he says are criminal and great and extremely entertaining to listen to and read, but I'm not like, oh my god, he touched her, or like, oh my god, like I'm not having those kind of like excited reactions to any of the like the spice or their I don't know, but I am loving, like I said, that like the depth, like the deepening of their relationship. I'm loving the side characters are like chef's kiss making this. The depth of the side characters that we're getting, we've got such good comedic relief in Carrion, we've got all these other dimensions with everybody else, and I also love Onyx. It now makes complete sense to me why we've got Carrion in the front and Onyx in the back. I'm like, well, I think these might be Callie Hart's 2 favorite characters because I think they might be mine. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm really enjoying hanging out with these characters, but I'm not necessarily like burning to know what happens because it feels like everything that's happening is so like 1 minute we'll be here and this thing will happen, and then we'll go over here and like this thing will happen, and then we'll go over here and this thing will happen. I think I'm ready to be shocked. Maybe that's it. But I have seen people say the ending does go a little crazy. So if it's gonna go crazy, it's gonna go crazy soon. Let's keep going and I'll update you in a bit. Hazraks basically just the cereal? I'm getting very similar vibes between Akatar cereal and the Hazraks. I don't know, I just kind of like his vibe. I just kind of like the Hazraks' you know? Like the cereal was objectively creepy, not great, but was kind of like a bestie that you didn't know you needed. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting from the Hazraks. Pretty inconsequential update, but just something I'm thinking about. Okay, let's let's chat, because I've officially finished Brimstone, and very excitingly, I've actually already started the next book that we're going to read. I feel like you already know the next book that I'm going to read, but the next book that we're going to read together to tick off another one from our 25 books for 2025 page is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I apparently wanted to read this book so much that I put it on here twice without realising it. You can see it's there next to Binding 13, and apparently it's also here underneath Eldridge. Didn't even notice I did that. It was clearly so top of mind. There can be no doubt that this is what we're reading next, and you guys also all voted for it in the poll what feels like weeks ago now. I'll tell you about this and like where I'm up to and all my thoughts, and we'll like read more of it together, etc, etc, in just a second. For now though, let's talk about Brimstone. I feel like I have been reading this book for a month. I haven't, obviously, but I think it genuinely has. I need to look up when I started this vlog. Maybe it's only been like 10 days. Whatever it is, it's been way, if it has been like 10 days, it's been an exceedingly long time for me to get through a book. I have so many thoughts. I actually finished it yesterday, and since then I've been thinking about it a lot. For some reason, the last section of the book, or maybe once I hit about halfway, I was picking it up way more infrequently. For a while, I thought that that was because I wanted to prolong the story, and then I kept finding really good times for me to listen to the audiobook or to just like pick it up and read a few pages. Like in the evening, I was like, this would be the perfect time to read, and I'd be like, well, I just don't really want to read Brimstone right now, which is, you know, when you're in the middle of a stellar book, that's not how you feel. One small caveat of context before I then get into the details of why I think that might be from a what's inside this book point of view, but maybe contextually, I did do a reread of Quicksilver before I started this, and I listened to Kingfisher's point of view on audio. I think the Kingfisher's point of view is like about 2 hours on audio, something like that, and then Quicksilver's like 20 hours on audio, and then this one is like 25 hours on audio or something. So partly I think maybe I just had enough of, you know, that's so much to do a reread straight into the second book, plus having done the little extra chapters. So maybe I was just a bit overloaded with it, but let's talk about my thoughts. Loved spending more time with these characters. This is definitely a book for character development. The character development that we saw from Carrion in particular, he is so my favourite character. I loved him for his funniness in book one, but I think I already said when I listened to it again, I was like, he was funny, but I don't think he was as much as everybody's making a fuss of him kind of funny. In book two, no, he deserves all of his props. He's so funny, he has so much comedic relief, but he also has this depth to him, and getting to learn more about him and his story was so good. There's a little quest that Carrion and Kingfisher go on kind of about a quarter of the way through. That was fantastic. I loved the pacing of that. I loved the aim of that. I loved everything about that little quest the two of them went on. I really liked getting introduced to a new member of like the Lupoprolia and like the development that we got with that character. I really liked seeing Ceres and Kingfisher's relationship deepen, and seeing what Kingfisher is like when he's just like full on down bad in love. Like that was great. But apart from those things, I do stand by what I said however long ago. There is something about this book that feels a little bit here, there and everywhere. It's like lots of very little things happening all over the place, which is kind of fun, but it didn't really feel like everything was all pointing in one direction. And then at the end, all of a sudden, it was like, the end was weird. I actually went back and listened to the end twice because I thought that I'd zoned out for the last few chapters. I was like, oh wait, have I just like not been paying attention? How are we already, what? The pages stuck together, like I don't understand how we've gone from this to that. And totally the end was really dramatic. No idea what's going on there. You guys know, if you've read it, there's all these like shadow gates that lead you to all these different places, and we kind of go somewhere new right at the end. I think that could be really cool in book three. I basically think book three has huge potential, but I think maybe this wasn't focused enough to be a 5-star for me. But I do feel really weird saying that because I have not seen anybody rate this anything other than 5 stars. And I loved spending time with these characters. I loved Ceres's development, and she's just getting cooler and cooler. And I love that whole side of things. The found family is getting better and better. I kind of glazed over a bit on the smut and the spice. I feel a little bit maybe repetitive because I kind of feel like Kingfisher's thing, like his whole 7 gods thing, like that was so I almost feel like you just don't get better than that. Like he almost peaked too soon and now I just feel like we didn't need it. I think seeing their relationship develop and build on where it left off in book 1 was so cool and so nice that actually those smut pages could have been used differently. or maybe cut because this thing is so massive. Anyway, all that to say, I think I'm going to finish my rating for this on either 3.75 or 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, but equally, yeah, I did have some issues with it. I'm so excited for book 3. I'll definitely be reading it. It felt kind of like watching a series as 20-minute episodes where I just was like, oh yeah, I could start a new episode, or I could not. I do think this probably then sits at like the 3.75 region, but maybe this book could end up being like a 5-star book if the third book brings all of this like to a whole new light, and then you go back and reread this and you're like, oh my goodness, that was pointing to that. Then that would make this a truly epic book. So maybe I need to wait and see till I finish the third one, but that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Anyway, that is a very long review. I'm kind of glad that we're finished, to be honest. Then when I finished this, I was then so desperate to start the next one. Look, I feel a bit guilty. I do feel a bit guilty because in my DMs I have talked about, and like, you know who you are, I have talked about when I would vlog Atmosphere, and I promised, and I've broken a promise. I promised that I would vlog me reading the first chapter because everybody says like the first chapter hits so hard. But I can't tell you how desperate I was to start it last night, and I was fully in bed in my PJs. I couldn't pick up the camera. So I started it and I read the first chapter, and I'm sorry, but let's talk about it. I am currently, let me check where I'm actually up to. Oh, look at that. Okay, I've read more than I thought I had actually. I really believe no one does it like Taylor. I do. So I'm 48 pages in. Let's rewind a little bit. For anyone that doesn't know anything about Atmosphere, neither do I. I know that it's about space. I know it's about a woman that goes to space, or a woman that works at NASA, and it says on the front that it's a love story. That is all the context I have. If you would like more context than that, I can give it to you, but I just don't think we need it. I think with every Taylor Jenkins Reid book, just go in blind. Just go in straight up blind, start reading, see where it takes you. The thoughts I have so far in my first 48 pages is, oh wow, do I love her writing. It's so unique in its absolute simplicity. Do you remember at school when you were in English lessons and you were taught, or maybe it was at school, maybe it was university, but whatever point in your education where all of a sudden you were taught, if you were, all of a sudden you were taught to simplify sentences and try and say what you're trying to say in as few words as possible, and that sentence still makes sense, to try and improve your capacity for succinctness. Taylor does that. Every single sentence she writes has no extra words. The sentence is exactly perfect and says exactly what it needs to say in as few words as it needs to say it. And it just means that her books are then packed with substance, because every single sentence is exactly what that sentence is meant to be. It's so unfluffy, her language, and I love flowery prose. I am I'm a folklore girly. I love books that are lyrically written. I can get completely swept up in poetry. I love it. But I also love the scientific way that like TJR writes. It's so good. And yes, the first chapter it didn't necessarily make me gasp out loud, because again, I find the beginning of every single one of Taylor's books so powerful. At the beginning of Malibu Rising, that says something like LA catches fire, like that's just what it does, and then lists all the, let me just get it real quick, because it's like one of my favourite beginnings of a book, of any book I've ever read. My Southern Hemisphere girlies, if you're looking for a book, this is it. This is the only one you need for this season. I am the queen of tangents, but yeah, here we go. I think I've actually read this out on my channel before, but I'm just going to read you the beginning of Malibu Rising because it's so powerful. I honestly expected nothing less than the first chapter of this. But it says, Malibu catches fire. It is simply what Malibu does from time to time. Tornadoes take the flatlands of the Midwest. Floods rise in the American South, hurricanes rage against the Gulf of Mexico, and California burns. The land caught fire time and again when it was inhabited by the Chumash in 500 BCE. It caught fire in the 1800s when Spanish colonizers claimed the area. It caught fire on December 4th, 1903 when Frederick and May Rindge owned the stretch of land now called Malibu. The flames seized 30 miles of coastland and consumed their Victorian beach house. Malibu caught fire in 1917 and 1929, well after the first movie stars got there. It caught fire in 1956 and 1958 when the longboarders and beach bunnies trickled to its shores. It caught fire in 1970 and 1978 after the hippies settled into its canyons. It caught fire in 1982, 1985, in 1993, 1999, in 2003, 2007, and 2018, and times in between, because it is Malibu's nature to burn. It gives me full body goosebumps, like full body goosebumps. And this is a story about a house that gets burned to the ground in Malibu, and then you start at the beginning of the story and you're trying to work out why this house burns down, because it says on the back like somebody lights a match to burn the house down, and you want to figure out why. And the fact that the book begins with the concept of that's just what Malibu does, it burns. She can do no wrong, like she can do no wrong. You're hooked. You're hooked right from the beginning. And I have to say the author's note gave me full body chills. The author's note where Taylor's talking about her daughter and the stars and space. So good. I'm going to read you a little bit of the author's note again. Sorry, you did not. You probably just want to go and read these yourselves, but I'm just going to read you a little bit of the author's note because obviously she's talking about space and all the research that she's done heading into this book. And she's talking about some of her favourite facts about space that she's learned as part of her research for this book. My favourite thing I learned: if you can spot the stars Altair, Deneb and Vega during the summer, you will see that they form a triangle, and that triangle always points south. If you are ever lost, you can find those three and know which way to go. Something about that always seems to cure whatever ails me when my daughter and I walk out into the night. I know some of it is simply the joy of spending time with her and perhaps the thrill of new knowledge, but I think it is also the relief that I feel those stars are immovable. Nothing you or I could do will ever alter them. They are so much bigger than us, and they will not change within our lifetime. We can succeed or fail, get it right or get it wrong, love and lose those we love, and still the summer triangle will point south. And in that way, I know everything will be some type of okay, as impossible as that can seem sometimes. I hope very much that you enjoy this story, but I hope even more, so you feel emotional, but I hope even more that Joan Goodwin can convince you to go outside tonight after the stars have come out and look up. I hope with all my heart Joan can convince you to be open to wonder. I feel like I'm about to burst into tears. Whoa. There's something about, it's like her, she's so profound and she's so earnest without ever being hyperbolic. And as an extremely hyperbolic person, I find when those who aren't, their sincerity hits extra hard. And it's something I always am like slightly critical of in myself, of like, stop exaggerating everything so much. Sometimes I just think I'm not exaggerating though, like I genuinely feel that much. But when somebody who's very grounded then speaks so sincerely or profoundly, it just hits. It hits so hard, and Taylor does it so well. Anyway, I should really shut up and go keep reading. I'm 48 pages in. I'm loving it so far. I am scared of the tears at the end. Catch up with you in a bit once I read some more. Excuse the state of me, I'm in the process of putting away a ton of laundry and I've been listening to the audiobook. Audiobook is fire. It's, what's her name? Is it Julia Whalen? She also narrated The Nightingale. She's honestly just fantastic. I've got like the physical copy propped on the bed because I'm listening to the audiobook, and then I keep like, there keep being these just phenomenal lines or little segments. Taylor is always teaching us about life, and I keep having to like jump for the book so I can see the words on the page, you know. And here's a great life lesson for all of us. I mean, again, something that I know that we know, but some people in the world don't know, and sometimes it's nice to be reminded. Joan realised he was terrified, and it did not excuse his attitude, but she understood, finally. Jimmy had been told from a young age that fear and failing and trying and wanting and openness and kindness and sincerity made him weak. And because he had believed it, he'd learned to suppress all of those things. And when he saw those traits in others, he hated them because he hated himself. Jimmy was hiding. That's what Jimmy was doing. And Joan was falling for it. She was trying to prove that she could be just like a man to all of them, to Jimmy, to Lydia, because the world had decided that to be soft was to be weak, even though in Joan's experience, this is the kicker, even though in Joan's experience, being soft and flexible was always more durable than being hard and brittle. Admitting you were afraid always took more guts than pretending you weren't. Being willing to make a mistake got you further than never trying. The world had decided that to be fallible was weak, but we are all fallible. The strong ones are the ones who accept it. Okay, you just do that to us. How are you not supposed to get completely consumed by stories that are written like that? I'm 100 pages in officially, and I'm loving it. Yeah. Loving it. I love how so often a lot of TJR's main characters are both simultaneously insecure and unsure whilst also being extremely self-assured and confident, and I know that doesn't make any sense, but I think she writes, I guess, multi-layered characters very well, and she writes characters with vulnerabilities very well. And the most special thing that she does, the most special thing in this book already, even though we haven't even really hit a third yet, is how well she writes the subtle and delicate ways your vulnerabilities and your like true you-ness can be seen by special other people in your life. The way that she writes bonds between people, and how Joan interacts with and meets another character in the book, and how that character like really sees her, and you feel so much, even though there's been not a lot of communication, we haven't spent a lot of time with the characters, because she describes so well what it is to be seen and what it is to be known. I'm sounding a lot like a fangirl right now. Right, back to my laundry. Okay, I feel tense But I am now on page 240. Well, really this book is just everything that I kind of thought it would be and that I knew it would be. It's so fast paced. I mean, I really feel like you could just read it in one sitting. If I was a fast enough reader, I would just binge this in one sitting. I feel like I'm kind of flying through it anyway. I'm starting to get to that point where I'm really invested in the characters, and because it's kind of dual POV and you're like jumping back and forth in time, I kind of know what is going to happen to some degree because I have seen like the future / present day. One thing I will say, taking me out of like, even like picking up the camera just now, that it's so engrossing that I find it hard to like snap back into reality when I'm reading a Taylor book. It's like so all consuming that someone will try and talk to me, or like I pick up the camera and I'll be like, what? What do you want? What do you want? But then sometimes breaks have to be taken. But anyway, I was going to say, one of the things that I love about Taylor's writing I just started thinking about one of the parts of the plot and I just completely forgot what I was going to say. Okay, I think maybe I'm just going to keep reading. I can't believe how bad this update is. I'm 240 pages in. I'm really enjoying it. It's fantastic. She knows how to write a story that feels really robust. Every single book feels like she is an expert in that topic or in that world. And the characters are also well developed, but it's the story. It's the plot and the story that's so fantastic. And when it says like a love story on the front, it really is a love story in every sense of the word. It's a love story about romance. Probably more predominantly than that, it's a love story about space and about the exploration of what is beyond Earth. It's a love story about family. Like, it's love between friends. Like, it's just love in every capacity, which when I saw that it said a love story on the front of a TJR book, I had no illusions that I was going into like a romance. I knew it was going to mean love in like a broader sense. I just know it's not really going to end well. I don't know that it's not going to end well, but there's always something pretty like Taylor's books always end. Well, not always. There's like happy and sad, you know? I'm never going to get just a happy ending. I'm going to go and keep reading, and then hopefully when I come back to you, I will be feeling a little bit more articulate. But it's extremely good, and I really recommend it. Right, I'm going to lock in. I'm immersive reading this because this book deserves it. I really hate Barbara. I really hate Barbara. This foreshadowing is breaking my heart. Could we stop? I don't like it. Okay. It is nearly a full 24 hours later. I've definitely needed the last 24 hours to just come back to center, try and digest. In fact, I don't even think I have anything to digest. I just wanted to live in it. I just wanted to live in it before I tried to analyze it or before I tried to move on. I just wanted to live in it. Anyway, so atmosphere was 5 stars. You could probably tell by the crash out, but it was 5 stars. It was so good. She's just a fantastic storyteller. I think I spoke so much whilst I was reading it that I probably don't need to say a huge amount more, or maybe I didn't say so much, but you could kind of see what this book was doing to me. It's a great story. The characters are brilliant. The pacing is unmatched. This is a flawlessly paced book. The thing that I forgot to say yesterday or whenever it was that I was like, oh, I've just forgotten what I was going to say because my brain was breaking, I've remembered it. I think this book executes dual timeline better than any book I've ever read. The way that this book it feels like effortlessly, but I'm sure TJR put a lot of effort into it, but it feels so effortless. The jump between the present day plot and the past plot, and within literally like a sentence, 2 sentences, I'm immediately back in that timeline. And I so often, I wouldn't say really struggle, but like dual timeline books are not really my favorite because it always takes me a minute to be like, okay, right, now let's like jump back to all the things that are currently happening to this character at this time, and then you get to the next chapter and you've got to jump back to a different, and sometimes I think that can really take you out of the story and it can disrupt your flow. This book does it the best I've ever read. I don't think my heart can take reading another emotionally devastating, or to be honest, I just don't think I can take reading another book that I predict to be 5 stars right now. So I think the next book that I'm actually going to read is not one from the book journal, but I think I'm actually going to kind of combi read, but kind of audiobook / read Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is the 3rd book in the Maple Hill series. It's unserious, fluffy, chill, ice hockey sports romance. And I think it'll kind of lighten me a little bit while still allowing me to just live with Joan for a little bit longer, because I can kind of hold that world and this one in my mind at the same time. I think if I now jumped onto a fantasy or something else, I'd have to kind of really say goodbye to these characters to like move on to a whole new thing. Whereas I feel like if I sports romance it just for a little minute, and a sports romance that I kind of know is going to be like a 3.5 star, which is what I mean. Like sometimes a 3.5 star makes you think like, oh, well maybe they have their place. They like really have their place. And I'm actually excited about diving into a little fluffy book because it's been a minute. Almost certain without a shadow of a doubt that Daydream is not anywhere in this journal, but I can tick off Atmosphere from the anticipated releases, and I can obviously cross it off twice now from our 25 books of 2025, and we can also cross off Brimstone. I am going to leave this video there. I kind of thought we were going to read 3 books, but honestly I feel like this vlog is so long anyway. Both of those books were a lot in very different ways. Atmosphere's altered my brain chemistry. Brimstone was a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this reading vlog here. So thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you're in the middle of such a lovely book. Maybe not, to be fair, maybe not, because there is so much good Bookmas content out there this year. I'm eating it up. Thank you so much for being here, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow for another day of Bookmas. Bye guys.